All right, we are live, everybody, this wonderful November 26, 2025. I am joined by my fellow co-hosts, Gavin and Swiggy, as we preview the upcoming and finale of both the conference slate and home slate of the 2025 season against our third Tigers of the season, LSU. Swiggy, Gavin, how are y'all doing tonight this night before Thanksgiving? Do y'all going out of town anywhere for Thanksgiving? Do y'all have any local plans? What's all going on with y'all?
I'm mad.
Mad?
Why are you mad?
I'll explain why in a second, but I'm mad.
Is it because you can't see your forehead?
No.
Darn. Well, that's as good shot as I can guess as I can get. We'll then go Gavin. Everything going well? Everything ready for the holidays?
Yeah, although I have to work tomorrow, so which is going to be a big deal. But I'm actually going to be getting a lot of responsibility as I'm actually directing one of the shows tomorrow morning. So,
Oh,
which
that's
will be
a,
nice.
that's fun. That's fun. I used to do that. I used to do that at a station in West Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have me directing the 6 a.m. show tomorrow morning, so which will be, a lot of fun. And I'll be
Mhm.
also be directing Friday morning for the 4:30 and 8 a.m. show too. So I'm gonna be getting a lot of directing experience at least under my belt for
Yeah,
uh
that'll be
for the
fun.
holidays. So and hey, I can't help but also get a little extra pay for working the holidays. So can't complain about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't complain at all. Swiggy, why are you mad though?
But yeah.
Because I cannot believe that we have had something happen. It is the greatest travesty of our generation.
Magic the
One,
Gathering
no,
recalling the Monster Hunter set because there's
no, no,
potential
no, no,
quality
no,
control issues.
no.
The pie fell face down on the floor 24 hours before. You forgot to take the turkey out of the refrigerator or out of the freezer.
We are being unfair to one loss BYU.
Oh
Let me tell
goodness.
let me
Oh
tell you.
goodness. The
No,
tragedy.
no, no. Let me tell you. This is unfair. Look at that non-conference. East Carolina, Portland State, Stanford, Stanford. The same Stanford that plays Notre Dame this weekend and is 4-7. Yeah, how is the committee not taking that into account? I mean, they had two ranked games all year. Two. Just I mean that's two, that's more than one. And let me tell you,
I mean,
uh,
that's what I've been told since grade school.
and they went 1-1 and lost by 22 points to Texas Tech. That is a resume that deserves being in over an SEC or Big Ten team. If this is a travesty, write your congressman, support BYU people, support BYU.
Well, remember, Swiggy, they have two ranked wins. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, two. Well, they weren't ranked at the time, so
I think that nope, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. They have two opponents, but they do have one ranked win, which cool.
how many? Yeah,
Cool.
how many ranked wins do you have, Josh? Think about it.
Well, my team has 5 ranked wins. Thank you very much.
Oh, your team. Okay, I was saying you personally, but
Me personally, I attended Michigan. I went to the Ole Miss one. We lost. Alabama was on the road. Um, didn't go to Missouri. Trying to think, what was our other two? What was our other two wins?
Auburn.
Auburn. I went to
Auburn.
Auburn, and then who
Okay,
was
then
our
yeah,
other one?
you have more. You have more.
Yeah, I have
Tennessee.
more in person than. Oh yeah, in Tennessee. You're correct. You're correct. I was trying to go through the
Tennessee, yeah.
schedule, and I have 2 ranked games in person. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
I have more worth than BYU does, but we'll circle to that. We will circle to that because we got a nice little plate because we've gentlemen we face this Saturday not the penultimate, the climax of the season of the conference slate, the home slate, and welcoming to Norman for the first time ever LSU, which is actually surprising. I thought that historical fact was wrong, and lo and behold, you go and look at Sooner stats for it. And yeah, we've only played LSU one time outside of like the normal bowl season, and it was in Baton Rouge. This is actually the first time we have faced LSU in Norman, and I think the expectations for it is definitely down since LSU is like what expecting half their team pretty much to opt out at this point because
Yeah.
there's no reason for them to play a nothing game for them, especially when they're going to the toilet bowl anyway. They're going to opt out of their bowl games, and they're going to it's really going to come down to how badly do they want it, and I don't think they want it that badly. For LSU, there is nothing to play for. Who cares what bowl game they go to? They're going to opt out of it anyway. For OU, they have everything to play for because this will get them a spot in the playoff. Most likely, what we're hinging on if they are going to host one. They're on like the cusp of hosting a playoff game, but everything depends on like if Alabama wins, Michigan wins, and some other things that are well outside of their control. But
Mhm.
just like Notre Dame was said, well, or Texas said, well, if we would have beaten Ole Miss at this point for it, and they wouldn't have lost to uh, Miami and Texas A&M, and things would be different. But we didn't take care of business. We might, but it all the stuff depends on how it all falls. The injury report was released, and I believe that looking at it initially, I'm surprised at the lack of LSU people that are actually on it. I almost expect more as Thanksgiving happens. But right now, the injury report for LSU is both their wide receivers, Aaron Anderson and Nick Anderson, are both out. Loans are hold with Nick Anderson. Their main quarterback, Nuss, he is out. Gabriel Relaford, their defensive end, he's out, and then Braylon Moore, their O lineman's out. For us right now, the only guy we have officially out is Troy Everett. But how long has Troy been? Like, he's been practically injured all season. It is what it is.
Mhm.
Same thing with all the doubtfuls. Our Mason Thomas obviously was not going to be playing. I think people were really, really like hyping themselves up that he could be back, but I think he'll be back for playoffs. Chatri
Yeah.
Williams, he's out most likely. And then I have no faith that Jacob Sexton or Jake Taylor are also going to play at this point. So they're all out. And then, of course, Reggie Powers is out because of that targeting in the first half for it. And then
Yeah.
I think the good news is seeing that the only running back that is questionable is Javonte Barnes. But we all know kind of the background story with Javonte that I think he's kind of redshirted for the season at this point, barring going into playoffs. And who knows what that's going to look like. But no other running back on the injury report is fantastic to hear. So that maybe mean we may see X Rob out on the field, maybe some Taylor Tatum if he doesn't fumble the ball. It's good news for OU for that. We got a little bit of stuff, a little bit of depth going into the running back room at this point. But I mean, we won't really even. We'll know what happens Saturday. It's supposed to be cold. The current forecast is the cold front's going to barrel through around noon, and temperatures are going to decrease as that happens. We're supposed to get like a 40-mile-an-hour wind, and I was joking on Sean's live stream last night of, oh, this would be great for teams that run the ball. Oh, wait. So us having
Yeah.
a little bit of depth with the ball is fantastic to hear. Or running the ball is fantastic. What I'm worried about is it looks like it might rain. And I think that I'm of the same opinion that everybody else is it's not the cold weather that bugs me. The cold's indifferent for me. I don't want it to rain. I really don't. I don't want to be in cold weather gear and in rain gear at that point. That's just going to be a pain in the butt to do. But is what it is. 2:30 kickoff. Very bummed about that not being a 7 o'clock kickoff. But at this point, if it's going to rain, any of the festivities and stuff that they were going to have potentially is probably going to be rained out at this point for it. And this is just the entire purpose of this game is get in and get out. There is no you win by 24-7, you win by 24-7, you're in the playoff. You win by 1 point, you win by 1 point. I think for a lot of OU fans, this will be relief because of how LSU has been a thorn in our side for 20 plus years since the Natty. And I know it's not connected, but at some point you just want to vent that frustration. And I think OU fans are going to be very happy for it. I expect the crowd, regardless, to
Mm,
be very, very rabid. knowing that a playoff spot is on the line. You got to win. You have to win to get that playoff spot for that. And I think the crowd's going to be in it. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to how motivated is for LSU, how motivated they're going to be. For OU, can you play well in the elements? Would that happen before with Ole Miss? And we didn't do a good job against Ole Miss when it rained. So that to me is going to be the biggest factors at this point, because afterwards you win, you get practically a month off to heal everybody up. You get everybody some good time off while everybody else has to go play the SEC or the conference championships. And kind of ours would be more just awaiting our path at this point. And if my card is going to be charged for season tickets for a playoff game and who our opponent would be regardless for. I'm telling y'all, dude, it's expensive. Our little section, we got our prices in, and it's going to be $225 per ticket. Like they are definitely not holding back on, we charging you boys and girls. Now, that said, the one generous gift we got from it is you only have to reserve them at the moment, but you don't your card's not charged until stuff is actually announced at that point. Thank goodness, because God, that's a pain in the butt for that. Because that, I mean, 500 is a lot to drop, regardless of like if it's whoever the opponent is. I mean, there are several paths for that, and we'll circle around to that. We'll start Swiggy. Swiggy, what's your instant reactions right now? Instant thoughts on us going into LSU this Saturday?
I mean, just win, baby. I mean that's what has to happen. LSU. Look, I don't want people. Even though LSU doesn't have anything to play for, doesn't mean players aren't going to try, and it doesn't mean that It doesn't mean we can treat this as a cakewalk. We have to go. We have to be ready. We have to be ready for their shot. Now, I will say, I think if we go up about, let's say 10-0 or 14-0, then I mean, given how bad that LSU offense is and given how good our defense is, I think we'll be okay then. But we can't rest on our laurels. We have to come out. We have to come out hot, and we have to, make this as stress-free as possible.
Yeah. Again, it's a get in, get out type of game. Gavin, what is your instant thoughts going into LSU at this point? I know one thing too, real fast. Something you mentioned, Swiggy, but I'll remember it. Gavin, go ahead.
One thing I will say is that I kind of was seeing a little bit of highlights, with the Western Kentucky game. And one thing I've kind of noticed, kind of looking at some of the highlights and everything, they have really liked, if more than anything, with using Van Buren basically rolling out of the pocket a lot. So honestly, that can actually kind of shows me a little bit within their issues with their offensive line. So it's going to be a good chance to kind of start feasting and everything else though too, and basically kind of force it to where we can actually limit their opportunities more than anything. But I also there was another question and everything too, Josh, that kind of was coming up and everything. Because there was a lot of talk and everything because of like with the playoff and everything, usually during around the same time where the playoff would be, there would be like graduations and stuff like that and everything that was going on there too. Have you heard any thoughts about anything of that being changed around or anything like that if the playoff is happening around the same time with finals and all that?
For OU, honestly, and it's going to sound just totally an asshole thing for me to say, but OU sucks to be you. You known for how long now that you could potentially host a playoff site. Yes, I understand that graduation would be during that time, but guess what? You've had this chance. It's one day. It's not the entire week. Suck it up, OU. Figure it out. Now that said, my asshole side out of the way. I've been told that if OU gets a playoff site, they would push for the Friday night game because of graduation on the Saturday, because it's not going to be outside. They're going to be down at Lloyd Noble, just like I graduated from OU in December, was able to walk still in the spring one, but it's always at Lloyd Noble. So to me, it's a non-factor at all. Like them
Yeah.
worried about this. I think it's a lousy excuse from OU for that. But I think any type of sort of like stuff with graduation or anything, it's a non-factor. For it, they're just going to have to work around it. They're not going to turn down playoff money. It's not happening.
Just give everyone. Just give everyone graduates and everyone gets A's.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a. I understand the concerns with it, but the logistics with everything, I'm not worried. I don't see any reason why OU would say anything for that. Again, it's a win and you're in at this point. Now that said, what would the playoff look like at this point? So if OU wins on Saturday, they're in. I think anybody who's trying to make any lousy arguments that OU wouldn't be in, dudes, they're 10-2. They beat 5 ranked opponents. They went through one of the toughest schedules.
It's a top 5. Yeah, strength of schedule is number 5 for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's going to make us on the right side of the bubble, honestly. So
I'm not worried about us. To me, the biggest worry is would we host a playoff game? I'm not worried about us getting in. You're 10-2. You have more than enough justification for strength of schedule. I think where OU should be worried is if team chaos happens a little bit this weekend. What do I mean by that? I think right now, if it's OU, you're a little mixed because you need Alabama to win, but you also need Alabama to lose. You need Alabama to lose on Saturday because it prevents them from getting to the SEC championship and bumping you down. Now, the flip side of it is you want Bama to win because it does increase your strength of schedule, and that could get you a little boost. I'm not going to say that it would give us much, maybe push us to the number 7. I think that's our biggest worry. It would not be us being left out. It's more of would we host. This argument also applies for Michigan. If Michigan happens to beat Ohio State, there still has to be a couple things go their way. But if Michigan gets to the Big Ten championship, yes, that's where I'd be worried about OU hosting a playoff site because then Ohio State's at home. They've only lost one game of the year. They're not going to go below OU at that point, or OU's not going to be above them at that point. I could see them bumping OU to 9. I think some things are going to have to go its way. Now, you ask me right now, I think Bama's going to win, and I think Ohio State's going to win. I'm not necessarily worried about Michigan.
Bama
I think they're tight end out. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Bama has like I'll say this because I kind of tiptoed. I kind of went around it on Sunday, but I'll be a bit more realistic here. Auburn has a 1% chance of winning that game. Like I know that like in almost any rivalry, it's really hard to win 6 in a row, especially one like the Iron Bowl. But
yeah.
Auburn and Alabama are in such different directions at this point. Now that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean like Auburn. If in your opinion LSU is laying down, which admittedly to be fair, guys are beat up. They're not going. There's nothing left for them to play for. They're getting ready for stuff. That's not what Auburn's going to do because Auburn, it's a rivalry game, and Auburn is going to go all out. Now, will Auburn's best shot be enough? I think in 1% of realities, yes, it will be because we've had
calm it down there, Doctor Strange.
we've seen strange stuff before.
I know.
A couple of years ago, there was the Bryce Young team that had to take 4 overtimes to beat them. There was the Jalen Milroe team that needed that miracle throw at the end. So to say
weird things happen in Jordan Hare for a reason. So
yeah, I'm not expecting it. I think this game goes one of 2 ways. Auburn ekes out a win, or Alabama crushes them. And I can tell all of you right now, I'd bet on Alabama crushing them more than I would Auburn eking it out. But I can't deny that there's at least a pot. Like, and when I say crush, I mean Bama wins by like 2 touchdowns, which is pretty much in the Kalen DeBoer era is pretty much how they go. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not super sold on Auburn. No, Michigan. Michigan, Michigan, if it snows, well, the thing is, Ohio State does have really good running backs. So, basically, I think the only way Ohio State loses that game is if they get caught up in their heads and try and win by purely passing. That's if it
Yeah.
snows. I mean, there's still some, we'll see. We'll see how the forecast goes. But I would expect chalk as far as that goes. Actually, the game I'm looking at where I think really could, where I think we could have a surprise this weekend is Oregon Washington, where Washington's not as bad as they seem, and Auburn's coming out, and not Auburn, Oregon's coming off a big win. So to me that's the sneaky. So if one team has to be upset, or Oregon's kind of tracking for me, but we'll see. We'll see this weekend. I could also see this weekend being a really chalky weekend.
If you ask me from those three games, I think Washington has the least likely chance to win. I don't think they're that good. I think
Okay.
Washington's
No.
that team. I think Auburn would be the next least likely one to win. I just don't have faith in their current offense situation. I think their defense is good, but just like with LSU, like I expect their defense to show up for us because they do have NFL guys there, and they're going to get that last bit of tape, last minute stuff for their stock. I just don't, even if with it being at Auburn, I know it's the Iron Bowl, and I know there's a 1% chance. That I think it's a tall. This isn't something where it's like OU, where all right, if your defense plays perfect, you shut them down. You just have to get one touchdown. I just don't see that happening with Auburn, and I could be wrong, and they could fool me, and this could be their Super Bowl of getting venting their frustrations at Alabama like we did last year. I just don't see it. It's the flip side. It's like I think Michigan out of those three would be the most likely that could pull off an upset. I think it's just they're more of a complete team at this point versus the other. I feel like Michigan has gone up while the other two have trended down a whole lot since the beginning of the season started. Now, Michigan, I know, is also going to be struggling a whole lot because of their lack of running back at this point. So can upsets happen? Sure. I just think it's there. I think it's wish casting a lot for it. I won't rule it out. Again, I know it's rivalry and anything can happen for it, especially with Ohio State, Michigan at this point. I think Ohio State just hasn't been really tested the rest of this year at this point outside
They haven't.
of.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
I mean, they played. They got tested. They got tested super early in the year with
Against Texas.
Texas, and then they had Illinois. Penn State. Penn State was not. Penn State was not as good as we thought Penn State would be this year.
I think they were, but I'm different from y'all. I'm more of the. I do believe they were, and that they were that rank when Oregon played them. But
I believe they were too, but they weren't. They weren't that rank when
they
Ohio
fell off
State
the
played
rails.
them.
Yeah, the train fell off the tracks after that loss. At that point, they're not the team that played at that point. That's why I always say I get it, guys. At the same time, you do have to take into account what they were when they were ranked. That's unfair to the both teams at that point, because that's like saying Mateer at Texas is the same team that played Alabama. It wasn't. So I get both. I get both arguments of wanting the full body of work as well as
but this is how it's been. This has been OU. This has been Ohio State's schedule since they played Illinois when Illinois was 17.
Yeah.
At Wisconsin, at home against Penn State, at Purdue, at home against UCLA, and at home against Rutgers. That's not exactly a world beater schedule, guys.
No,
No,
it's not really world beater schedule at all. I mean, it is just not. I mean, right? I mean, other than Texas, I just really have a hard time. I mean, yeah, they've been winning the games and been handling it efficiently more than anything, but it's been like Ohio State, and then who else will follow behind it? I mean, I know it's been Indiana and Texas A&M, but it just seems like it's Ohio State's been holding on to that number 1 ranking, and they've been trying to prove it all season. I mean, I just really
I
don't
think
know. It's
Ohio
like who else
State's
can you put out next to them at this point?
I think Ohio State's big strength going into that game is they haven't been tested, that they are pretty healthy at this point, which I think that's why I'm like very tentative to say Michigan is even in it because their running back room is like ours. It's very banged up where guys are out for the rest of the season at this point. I just think Ohio State's also, and Swiggy, you can tell me differently. I think Ohio State is in that we've lost to y'all for 3 years. We owe some belt to ass. I feel like
Oh
they're
yeah,
in the
they're not.
same.
Yeah, no, that's not.
I feel
It's
like they're in the
not.
same position we are with LSU.
Ohio State. Yeah, that's a game. Yeah, that's a game Ohio State has to win. Well, they don't have to win because I mean, they can go to the they can go to the playoff. But the thing is,
And
donors and people who still care, like look, the thing that saved Ryan Day's job last year, well, maybe not his job. I don't think he was gone yet. But the only thing that calmed people down was that he won the national championship.
Yeah,
I mean, if he wants to do the same this year, lose to Michigan and win a national championship, people will forgive him. But that's not exactly that's not a full that's not a foolproof strat. I mean,
no, I'm
hoping to win a national championship is not a foolproof strategy.
so
So
and
that's a big thing. Is I'd say in this day and I get that. That's the thing. Is like I think if you ask deep down, truly, unless it's true fanatics, they'll take a national championship every single day of the
oh, they
season.
will. Oh,
yeah,
they
they
will.
will.
Oh, they will. People
But
will.
They
but you're
will.
You,
right that you gotta beat Michigan when they're at their weakest. Like last year, losing was bad. That
Yeah,
was
it
bad
was.
for that. But again, I just don't. If you ask me which ones, I think Alabama would be who's most like who is safest. I still think it's Alabama. I think they're the safest for it. I know that's a little different when I said like Washington is like the least likely, but based on team composition where they're at, I think so. But Gavin, you were
yeah.
gonna say something.
Yeah, I know. I was just basically was saying more than anything. It's like, and Swiggy, the rivalry too, and you guys were touching on this though too. It's like, with Ohio State and Michigan, you are basically there to just basically do two things. One is to win a national title, and two, it was basically beat your arch rival
Yeah.
for the most part. And it's like, and those
Yeah,
are the two things that you come in for that job. And if you basically come in and can't do both of those jobs, usually, I'm not saying it's going to get you fired, but then it's just basically
No, it's
kind of
not.
cause
No,
no,
it's
no, no. I'm
not.
not. No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's in where you're getting fired, but then there basically are some questions, of going on about where you are coaching wise and everything. I'm not saying
I
Ryan Day
think
will.
I
I'm not.
think a better.
Yeah. I'm not saying he is going to get fired or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all.
No,
But then,
no.
but it just kind of raises a little questions of like, it's like how we would be with Brent, if anything, of like, with his issues with Texas and everything. Yet if he somehow still wins the Natty or something like that, just from the hypothetical standpoint, it still would kind of create some questions in that standpoint.
I think the biggest thing with I think a better way to put it is what is the expectation for this year is where the fan base would be uh what would quell them if something happened. So like for last year, did Ohio State have a realistic chance of winning it all? Yes, it sucked to lose to Michigan when it was the worst Michigan team in a while, but you also had higher aspirations. I think if it was like a situation where we're at where I think our defense, depending on who we match up with, can carry us only so far. Maybe into the semis, depending on where you land in the bracket. and knowing like probably the semi winning a game is probably our ceiling, it was more important to beat Texas at that point and for the program and stuff like getting to the semis. But it would be very important to beat Texas for some donors and stuff like that. One thing I will mention, because I realized it doing some rewatches with our videos and stuff, that we don't see the chats and stuff. Excuse me, for replays. So to answer Jimmy's question, he asked, "Do y'all think our Mason Thomas is going to get any snaps Saturday?" And I do not think so. With the injury
No.
report that was released, that saying he is doubtful, I think he's done
No.
until playoff at this point. I think that's going to be a very lingering injury, and I think it is not even hey, we need you right now. I think he's not going to even play. He'll probably suit up for senior day for it, but that's probably going to be the extent for it. But I mean, again, everybody else will be there. Everything else will be fine. So now that said, outside of the chaos with the playoff and everything, like what team could jump us for an air quote? I do think another team that also should be absolutely where it should be Ole Miss. I think I was on Sean's live stream last night, and he was shocked that they dropped Ole Miss, and I stand by that. They threw it in there as a just in case we need to drop you. The excuse is already built in, and I think the chaos with Lane has caused that at this point. Do it now. If Lane left, do I think that they would drop Ole Miss out? No. I stand firmly that they would keep them at like number 12 because the players are still there. Now,
Yeah.
if Lane stays, well, that's another matter entirely. I'm not convinced. Side note, I don't think they're losing to Mississippi State. If they do, bump them out.
No, they're
playoff
not.
at that point. Now back on the main topic though, I think Lane leaving is going to bump them down a little bit. So I think they should be worried a little bit. And based on like little things that keep popping up here and there, Lane Kiffin basically playing his own version of The Bachelor, of who he wants at this point. I would say Ole Miss, they could be caught off guard, but they would be the other team I think could give us some problems or give us some hope of, hey, they may bump them down a little bit more just because of everything that's happening in the background. I think the other team that I think should be sweating some bullets because certain things have to start going their way with 2 weeks left is Notre Dame. Now, I genuinely still deep down, regardless of what happened last stream, what was said last stream, I believe the committee is really dick riding Notre Dame, and I really do believe they just fell in love with that Syracuse game. I'm like, why, guys? Like they're trash. I think they really, really want Notre Dame in. However, I think if Michigan or Bama somehow or another start hopping, I do think they start getting in danger. They're at number 9 still. They only need to drop 2 spots and they're out at this point. But we'll see. I think they should be sweating just a little bit, but I don't think they're in danger of being kicked out because I expect everything to go as it should this week. And it doesn't matter if Ohio State loses. I don't think it matters if A&M loses. I don't think it matters if some of the other teams in front of us lose outside of Ole Miss. I think we are securely at a 7-8 spot at this point. But if I was Notre Dame, yeah, I'd be sweating a little bit. This also goes to, I think, based on watching the playoff stuff last night, man, they do not. I think they made it very clear they do not want another Big 12 team in. And I think they've made it clear that they also don't want, if they could kick them out, they would. They don't want the ACC in this playoff, but they do not want a G5 team since you've seen other teams starting to get ranked just to start building up a little bit of that ACC schedule at this point. They will move mountains to make sure the G5 do not get another one. Hence why I don't think why North Texas or James Madison James Madison. Yeah. JMU was ranked last night. I think that they sent a message of you're not doing it, guys. And to be fair, I also think too that I know there are plenty of people who are bitching about it, and I'm talking about like you go peruse the message boards, you go just search some stuff on like social media. I know people are pissed about, guys, don't play a weak schedule. I'm sorry, you are not, as a G5, you should win out and expect you're going to be a 12 seed every single year. They're not going to respect you guys.
I'll say this. The only two the literal only two consistents that we have had throughout everything with the playoff is number one. Oh, there's nothing like a quality loss. Really, Alabama should have lost to Georgia instead of Florida State. I mean,
Yeah.
that was Alabama's biggest mistake of the year, was beating it, was having that happen. But what are you going to do about it? And
it keeps looking worse and worse as
and
that we get removed from a
Yeah.
Florida State loss.
and, and guys, play a non-conference schedule. Control what you can control. Like, so, like, you know what? Yeah, like, does it kind of suck that Blue Bloods are going that the non-conference with Blue Bloods doesn't matter as much? Yeah, sure, it does kind of suck.
Yeah.
But you know what? But you know what? That's how it goes. Blue Bloods get that benefit of the doubt, and big conferences get that benefit of the doubt. It's like, yeah, yeah, we played, yeah, we, yeah, we. I mean, look at it this way: but our strength of schedule is still, like, consider this year, even with Kent State, even with Temple, even with what was it, Eastern Illinois, who we opened the
Illinois
season with?
State.
Illinois State. Even with those
Illinois
three,
State.
even with those three, our schedule is still a top 5 schedule in the country because of how rough the SEC was this year. So that's, yeah. Guess what, guys? That's the built-in SEC advantage is strength of schedule. You can't. You have to find a
Yeah.
way. You have to find a way to impress someone. If that means you either have to go undefeated, or if that means, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how realistic it is you can schedule Michigan or any of this or anything else. But you can't have these board these like I was joking earlier, but serious talk. I would actually be intrigued about BYU's argument if they had literally any other big game they had played. Their other big game was Arizona. Consider that they haven't played Arizona State. They haven't played Houston. Well, it's unfortunately that's the bad part and that's the bad part about these super conferences is that you can draw a weak schedule. It's not BYU's fault. That's just the schedule they were handed, and I think they've done it. I think they've done a good job with it. But it's not a schedule that's big enough or interesting enough to overcome some issues. Like, replace
BYU has the
yeah,
same issue that James Madison has.
yeah,
Their quality opponent is not that good. If you
yeah.
even look at OU schedule, like you can make an argument that who was OU playing until October. Okay, I could get
Michigan.
behind that. Oh yeah, we already got Michigan. You're right. I'm sorry. But regardless, you could say taking Michigan that we didn't play anybody with a winning schedule ish outside. I'm not counting Illinois State because that's
I know, yeah,
FBS.
yeah.
But until Texas at that point, and that's valid. That means the later half of your schedule has to make up for it, and we did. That absolutely made up for it. You are going to draw some of the weaker teams, but then you take a look at like, say, James Madison. James Madison, I believe, has only played 2 teams that are above 0.500. Of course, they're not going to respect that schedule. Like they're going to go, "That's neat, guys," but you're playing butt, and it's not even you're playing at least in the ACC at this point, where there is a higher level of competition. No, you're playing G6 teams like
if they beat
that are just hoping to get bowl game.
If they had beat Louisville, then once again something interesting. You can interest me a little bit, but
Correct. Yeah, James Madison, their best win was Old Dominion.
Exactly, and that
Cool.
exactly. Well, exactly. I mean,
and it wasn't even. It was in their home stadium, which makes. I'm not saying it takes away from it, but it's a little bit weaker argument of if you at least beat them on the road. that's a little stronger argument. But it's like, I don't care. Like, I'm sorry, they can say all they want on that. I don't care. It's like why Utah got punished last night against for almost dropping to K-State. It's valid because K-State, look, you beat Utah. Like, K-State had no business losing with 500 yards on the ground, and I will stand by that till the end of time. But Utah, you should have never been in that position in the first place. It's why I also think they make no run. But that's why I think
and that also
BYU.
that also hurts BYU. Their best win almost lost to Kansas State. It's tough. Look, it does suck that well, I admit it does suck the Big 12 is not as good as the SEC or Big 10. Yeah, sure. I will freely acknowledge that. And I understand people talk about, oh, it's hype, it's everything. Guys, it's not just hype. If you look at some advanced stats, look at some big stats. Michigan, let's see here.
I think here's a great example.
One second. One second. I want to finish this here. Like, if you look at opponent adjusted top defenses, OU's faced 6 of the top 26 defenses in the country and 4 in the top 16.
Correct.
It's
yes.
So so OU's as much as we like to talk about, oh, why can't the offense be better? Well, some of that's also because of who we're playing. We gotta just grind out some. We gotta grind out some of these wins. So
correct. Well, and it's the
Yep.
I always see that rule of thumb of there is a you know how we've always talked, like when you're ranking opponents and your elite teams are usually your top 5, 4, 5-ish, and then it goes into, okay, you're ranked based on how egregious your basically the deficiencies in your team is and how much of a detriment is to you at the moment for this year. OU's only number 8 because our defense is playing like our Lincoln Riley offense did, and it was carrying the team. The problem is it's shutting down completely other teams. They're playing on a very elite world beater defensive level, and it's keeping game because they can show, yes, now they're getting turnovers. They're scoring on those plays. They're keeping us in. It's not just luck. They are controlling their basic destiny at this point.
Yeah.
While our offense continues to eat Temu glue. We don't even get the name brand stuff. We get glue. But now there's a flip side to that, and I want to follow that up with you, Swiggy, is take a look at BYU's schedule. They didn't face anybody that meant a damn until Arizona, which was mid-October. Okay, we said in the earlier part of the stream, your later half has to make up for it. So it does to a degree. Then you have to look at the next quality of the opponent. A lot of their people are circling to where I was going at with like rankings. A lot of their opponents are 7-4 teams. That doesn't mean anything. That's just we're surviving through the season. If they're at least 8-4, yes, there's some. To me, there's some meat on that bone. 7-4 and 6-6 means nothing.
I will give I will give BYU a little bit. I will give BYU one bit of credit. They did face they have faced 2 top 10 offenses, but the problem is when they are defenses. When those by some metrics, when it came to Tech, they got totally shut down and did nothing, and they had to take Arizona to overtime. But I mean, that's just it. I mean, that's just it. Even if I consider Arizona is not that impressive a win.
No, it's not.
No, not anymore.
I mean, and it feels like they won. It's so close. Like, if this team had beaten Iowa State, I might talk myself into Arizona. But but once again, that's where the mega conferences hurt you, because but this is where the mega conferences do hurt, because you're missing a big part of the Big 12. You got the lower half of the Big 12 this year.
Well, that's why I say let's use OU as the example for it. Okay, they beat Illinois State. Illinois State is in the FCS playoffs. That's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nothing for us because it's still FCS, but it's not like we picked some of the single worst like teams that exist just because they exist essentially. Like I hate saying it, like UConn. UConn people were complaining last time, like guys, you played nobody. You're not going to get into the playoff.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You have
When
to.
we
No,
play
you're not.
Michigan, when you look at Michigan is a 9-2 team. It has gotten better. Like I feel like Michigan has done this a little bit. They've gone through peaks and valleys, but they are on the precipice of a potential. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but a potential
Upset.
big championship, Big Ten championship weekend bid for
Yeah.
it. Blah, I'm getting my words mixed up. But playing in the championship games for the conference, that's a good win. Temple, you look at Temple. Look, Temple stinks. They're 5-6. Like they're struggling. Auburn, they stink. They're 5-6 as well. It helps when they get bowl games. Kent State, I think we can all agree they kind of stink. But then you go look at, all right, so we lost to Texas. Where's Texas at right now? They're still in the top 20. That's nothing to be ashamed about. South Carolina.
And you know what?
Yeah. Yeah, they still are.
I'll give BYU this. Look, go out and beat Tech. I mean that. Go out. I mean that. Go out, beat Tech. Prove that you belong. Your fate's still in your hands, BYU. It's still in your hands.
Well, and that's where I say too, like look at the rest of
Yeah.
the schedule. They lost to a playoff team. There's no shame in losing to a playoff team when comparing. Then they went on the road and beat an 8-3 Tennessee. I'm not going to say I think Tennessee's probably going to be 9-3 at the end of the year. I just don't see them. I don't see Vanderbilt beating Tennessee and Neyland, but it's me. Alabama 9-2, and then you also have Missouri 7-4. Like you can blame it on injuries, but you have a big chunk of meat that you can show out there. Like, yes, OU has played Michigan. Tennessee's probably going to look even better with a 9-3, or 9-3, and then Alabama, depending on 10-2, 9-3. It looks good. OU's actually playing the quality. They're not running away from the quality opponents. BYU, you can't make that same argument.
Well, okay, I'll be fair. I don't think they're. It's not so much they're running away. It's some of it is just the Big 12 the Big 12 needs some good teams, and it's a bad year for the Big 12, which hurts. It's a bad, which hurts because I mean even last year's Big 12 was better, but this year's Big 12. There's not a lot
other
there.
than Texas Tech, I mean, who else do you have really in there? I mean,
if I want, it's actually fun. I mean, honestly, it's kind of it's you know what I'm going to say it's funny because I think this is this is really funny about the Big 12. How right now the ranked teams in the Big 12, 25 is Arizona, 20 is Arizona State, 13 is Utah, 11 is BYU, and 5 is Tech. Now, I can squibble about that, but other than Tech, everyone who's ruling the Big 12 is new money.
Yeah.
Which is which says a lot. Oklahoma State, we're gonna go and dominate the Big 12.
Which was never going to happen.
No.
Well, I mean, they might be getting a couple of years. I actually like that. I like it. I like their coaching hire. Which this is probably the only time you'll hear me praise. This is the only time you'll hear me praise the Pokes. I do like that coaching hire for them.
I do too. We'll discuss that in a moment. But the point I get at with say OU, if we're comparing say a BYU, if you put them head to head, when you faced adversity, did you overcome it? And some, yes, OU did, and in other ways they did not. There's no shame to losing to Ole Miss, which is going to be a playoff team, and you got your one mulligan with Texas. You went on the road with everything else roughly-ish and took care of business, which historically has not happened at all. I think people said in the same year with Tennessee and Alabama on the road. It was only LSU twice and Auburn when they had was it Cam Newton? It could have been. Regardless, it was whoever it was. It's something that just does not happen. OU earned their stripes essentially for it. So that's why versus BYU. Now, I think they bumped BYU up to have a just in case Texas Tech loses, because I think if Texas Tech loses, they're not in. I think they're out at that
Yeah,
point.
I could see. I could easily see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in general you can tell they don't really respect the Big. I think in general you can tell they don't really respect the Big 12. It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Well, and it's like take a look. If you take a look at like the conference rankings for like the SEC, for example. OU didn't play Texas A&M, so we can knock that out. And I'm talking like kind of the upper half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at the or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You can't count yourself for it, and it caps out. Tennessee's kind of in the bottom of the top 8. We didn't play A&M, so it doesn't count. Georgia didn't play, it doesn't count. We lost to Ole Miss. We beat Alabama. We lost to Texas, and we beat Tennessee. We still beat half of the teams that we were supposed to for it. You take a look at, say, the Big 12. Let's go to the Big 12 for BYU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The cap is Kansas State is the sucky part. They lost to Texas Tech. They beat Utah. And that's kind of it. Oh, and they beat Arizona. But that's kind of it. I'm not saying necessarily. I understand some arguments of like, well, those opponents aren't ranked. Like, I get it. At some point, it does go against you though. So, but Gavin, I know you've been trying to say something. I've been interrupting you.
No, I haven't been wanting to say anything.
Oh, okay. I just look at it as I sympathize with the people, but at the same time, you know what? People have said, and they're right. Somebody has to get left out. Yeah. And at some point, stuff starts coming in as tiebreakers. So like 9 and like Texas. Well, what if we beat Texas A&M? You are still out because you are 9-3.
I mean, I'll say the one thing I will say, the only team I do kind of feel, I do and I don't feel for Miami, because in like a realistic playoff, Miami would be in. But you know what? Don't lose to SMU. Win your ACC games, and things would have taken care of itself. So, I mean, eventually wins have to matter more than hypotheticals at some point, and I think Miami's a good team. I mean, I'm a proponent of going straight. I'm a proponent of a 16 or 2014 play. I might go 24. I might go 24.
I think. Well, is it an injustice for Miami?
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not an injustice, because
I don't think injustice is the word.
Beat SMU. Win your game.
I think it's
win the games you have to win. Like if we had. Like right now, if we had lost to South Carolina, people would really say, "Wow, that's a bad loss." So you have to take care of business. Wins do matter at the end of the day. So,
and losses do too, whether people want to admit it or not, whether they despise the quality loss. And I said it last night on Sean's stream. It matters when it matters. And I stand by that with quality losses. Like, does that Alabama loss to Florida State look worse and worse each week? Absolutely. And they can't ignore that. I think it's more with Miami that would it suck if they were left out at 10-2? Yes. But that's just how the rules are. You have to admit the 5 conference winners. And you're living on basically it's the
be mad too
you're living
late
on a prayer.
Be mad too late if you're mad at anyone.
Well, no, because they would get in regardless.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If you're BYU or Miami, be mad at the G5.
Right, and that's the thing. Even going back to 2024, like they are going to get a bid. Oh no, actually, ironically, Swiggy, no, they don't have to be mad. They need to be mad at how the system is right now. that they have to accept the 5 highest conferences. Without the Pac-12 being really a genuine conference, G5 can step right in.
Yeah, that's it.
At this
Yeah.
point. Now, last year, in addition to, but you get my point for it. That's as consolidation happens, those ironic what Texas has been whining about, what other teams, well, if we didn't play this, that's going to come in more into play. And guess what? For OU, that's why we're advancing for it, because of Michigan, because of Alabama, because of Tennessee. That's not something you can ignore. And even though the computers, for whatever reason, hate OU and Ole Miss on certain stuff for it, everyone knows, like, yeah, OU and Ole Miss deserve to be in there at this point. So, I mean, I think the bigger argument would be, I think I would field better arguments if, say, we were comparing Oregon, Ole Miss, and OU and where to seed them. I could feel better arguments for that one and make an argument of, well, if you take their mulligans out, then Oregon only has one or no losses at that point. OU only lost to a playoff team, and Ole Miss also only lost to a playoff team, or I think at that point for it. So, yeah, I could see the seedings for it. There's a lot that goes into it, but people have predicted what the playoff committee is. I sympathize with the whiners. At some point, though, people are going to be left out. We've been left out. It's not fun. We should have made it in the 20. I think. What was it? There was a year for it, and I was going to say 2020, but it wasn't.
Not 16, was it? Or
no, it wasn't 16, because we made it in at 16. We lost to Clemson that year.
No. 2016 we didn't make it in because we had 2 losses, if I'm not mistaken, but we were like the 5 seed.
I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, here's the thing: if you want it totally fair,
no, we made it in 2016, Gavin.
No, it was 2015, 2017.
2015. 2017 was the Rose Bowl. 2016 was the Orange Bowl. Because we lost to Clemson.
No, 2016 was the Sugar Bowl when we went to Auburn.
Well, whatever one it is I'm looking at, it says the 2016 playoff season for it. We played Clemson and we lost 37-17.
Yeah.
Because that was like the first of like.
Oh, okay.
I think for the 2017 one, you're thinking
one was
of 2017 was for the 26th season, or 2016 was for the 25th. Regardless of it, we did go to a playoff for it. Well, we weren't left out, but it's just how the system works. We've benefited from it from the BCS and stuff too. At some point, teams are left out.
Look, the only if you wanted a truly fair way, we made it in 2015. We made it in 2015. It was 2016, 2017, where I think we got screwed over. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay.
Side note, as we're talking playoff, I'm working on a little project for my channel, and basically I'm trying to apply all the playoffs to like some select years and see how stuff played out. You know what year I started with, guys, and it's been very fun.
What year?
1971.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's been a great thing to kind of see where everything is. So here's just to give y'all a preview, because it's going to be its own video series, kind of a what if it existed. So if I took 2024's rule sets and 2025's rule sets, because if you had to play out, basically, for those of you who have not researched it, 1971 was the game of the year game, and Nebraska won it all, and they faced Alabama. So if you went into the next year for it, if you put the 4-team playoff like it used to be, it would have been Nebraska, Alabama, OU, Michigan, and a 4. But so that's an easy one. But what I wanted to keep going and see, what if it was 2024 and 2025's rule set? It would have been so fun. Now, it seems like all roads led to Nebraska or Alabama. Okay. But if we took the 2024 rule set, OU could not have gotten one of the top 4 seeds, because that only went to the conference winners. Well, that goes to Nebraska for it because of the Big 8. And I even applied it with like, well, if they were in different conferences, it still wouldn't have mattered for OU for that. But if we applied the 2024 rule set in the current in the conferences they were in, okay, the conferences they were in, not in the current conferences they are in now, for it, Guess who OU would have faced in the first round of the playoff? They would have. I will give you a spoiler. They were on the left side of the bracket, so they would have faced Nebraska in the semis, most likely. Again, it would have been a rematch of the game of the century, and if they would have won, they would have faced Alabama, most likely in the Natty. But guess who we faced in the first round in Norman?
I'll say Georgia.
No.
Okay.
Georgia was, I think, an 8 or 9 seed. I think you are very close, but
yeah,
no.
I'll take close. I'll take close.
You were close. They're on the actually, surprisingly, they are on the opposite side of the bracket.
Take a guess, Gavin. Gavin.
Yeah, just take one guess.
Gavin.
Okay, 71. Man, I have to double check. I don't know. I'm just gonna go out for left field. It would have been either like Notre Dame. I know I'm wrong.
Notre Dame actually did not make it into that playoff. They would have been one of the first few out in the 2024 rule set in Norman. And the way I did it was whatever the ranks were. I did not feel like, well, would they move stuff around? I took what it was. They would have faced Texas and Norman. Texas was the 12th.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah. So here's a flip side. If we went the 2025 rule set where everybody played everybody, OU would have faced Alabama most likely in the semifinals with Bear Bryant, and then faced Nebraska in the Natty. I'm like, we were robbed. We were robbed. Now, did OU make it? That's a tall order, but when you look at that 1971 team of who they beat of USC, Texas, Colorado, Auburn, I think they could have beaten Alabama, and it would have been a game of the century rematch. Ratings would have been like printing money at that point. Oh yeah, they lost to Norman. Oh, we're going back into the Natty at that point. We're going down to I think it was Orange Bowl. I think it was. Yeah, going to the Orange Bowl for a rematch. Oh yeah. So I'm taking select years and kind of seeing like, could OU have won it all? What were they doing? Now here's a flip side. We talk about who was benefiting. One of the years I'm working on is 2000. Boys, I will tell you right now, we benefited from the system because it was the BCS for that. Because just with 1971, all roads kind of led to Nebraska for OU. All roads led to Miami, and we wouldn't have beaten Miami. Not with how banged up we were on offense at that point. I don't think OU would have made a playoff run nearly as far. So we benefited from the BCS at that point. But that's the system that was the system we agreed to. Yeah. But I've been working on that. It's very fun seeing what could have, should have been, because OU never played Bear Bryant. Outside of, I think, the Blue Bonnet Bowl at that point. But the real wishbone offenses and stuff we never did. So we never truly got the answer for Alabama people specifically of who would have won, Bear Bryant or Barry Switzer at that point. Both SEC legends. But
did we?
No,
okay. Did we not play Bear Bryant when he was over in Kentucky or anything? Something like that?
I think that's what it was the Blue Bonnet Bowl for it. But that was before the wishbone. Because the argument has always been who had the better wishbone, OU or Alabama. Texas likes to argue it, but they're not. It was either OU or Alabama.
The only way I would say is that Texas originated it, but we perfected it, and then Alabama copied it. That's how I
mean, they copied it to really good.
I mean, that's just basically what the truth of it is, honestly. I mean, I'm just saying, because I watched that documentary that they did talking about the wishbone, they did on the SEC network and everything. The origins came from Texas and all that and everything. But but it's that's just where I'm getting at. It came from Texas. Darrell Royal basically, kind of, I don't know what, somehow in the goodness of somewhat of the Crimson Heart that he still had. Basically just had some help and everything with with somebody with OU and all that and everything, and then OU basically perfected it in a sense. So that's just basically a long story short if you have not seen the documentary.
Oh yeah, and it comes down to, even the books have been written that OU is probably the better one. They just never had that opportunity to play. But we were cheated out, guys. We were cheated out. I think in the 2001, I haven't got that far because I've been very focused on the 1971 one, and then playing around as well as like, well, what if we were in conference once? OU would have played, I think, like Toledo if we did it how the conferences are now. I'm like, yeah, OU would have destroyed Toledo. But yeah, it's been fun to work on, and I think it will be fun to see how this stuff plays out for it. But would OU theoretically could have won? They could have, but man, if we could have had a playoff, how many ever years ago at this point for it? Speaking of which, by the way, what before I forget, for people that are viewing right now or people who are watching this after the fact, as a reminder, guys, recently I have joined Extra Life, which is a fundraising opportunity to raise money for the Children's Hospital in Oklahoma City. As I mentioned many times, this has been a very, very tough year for everybody, especially those individuals and families at the Children's Hospital. So what this organization does is raise money during like playing video games or board games, and all the money goes straight to the charity. Well, recently with me signing up, I wanted to see what we could do as the OU community band together and try to raise money on our own through streaming, through different things as well. Because hey, if we have time here, we can donate a few dollars. So the link is in the comments or the description to go to Extra Life. It goes directly to my page and to donate. And I want to challenge anybody in the chat right now to donate either what the spread is for the LSU OU game, which is, I believe, 10 and a half. So $10.50 the day we're playing them, the 29th, or if you want to wait after the fact, whatever the amount OU beats LSU by. Again, every dollar amount helps, guys. This helps for kids who are trying to like get treatment. It's helping families to have extended stays to be with their kiddos at the Children's Hospital. Again, I'm not even the middleman for it. I'm just the one trying to raise money for it. And we're only $20 off from our first milestone. Every year it resets in at January 1st. And since I joined late, I do want to make a last minute effort. So again, guys, if you have any spare change, I know I gave out some dollar amounts for it, but any dollar amounts will help those kiddos at this point for it. So
Wait,
just
Josh,
wanted to plug in.
how much were you saying you were needing for the first goal? $20.
$20. Yep, we are at 55 right now. 75 is the first big milestone for it. So we still have a month and 5 days before it. And again, nobody's obligated, but all this goes to the Children's Hospital. And guys, again, they need it. So, but yes, we are $20 off from our first milestone. And what a time to give right now during Thanksgiving. If Eddie can raise money, we can too. So we talked to get back on track with it. We got probably about another 20 minutes before we'll wrap the stream up. We talked some playoff stuff with it. Like, do y'all have any final thoughts on playoffs? Like, it is what it is for it. I think, again, it's OU wins out and there is some team chaos in play. But unless OU loses, I don't see them in danger. I'll put it that way. If they lose, they're out. I think you have to win. But I think OU's worst outcome would be, besides losing, is do you host a home game or not? But do y'all have any final thoughts on it?
No, I mean, honestly, if we win, that's just basically a chance for us to be in the playoff, honestly, though. That's kind of how I look at it, if anything. Yeah. So just take care of business and we will basically be in a really good shape, honestly. So yeah. That's all I can really say.
Stop whining and win your games.
I agree. It's like it's what I keep going to. You know what I actually saw a lot from this week, and I get it. And again, when you break it down, it's like the refs lost the game. I get it, guys. Refs make bad calls. It takes a lot to get to that point, guys. Like, even with OU and our bedlam once, does it suck that Drake Stoops, they never called it on Drake Stoops? Absolutely. And we could argue, well, maybe they could have won it. We still had 59 minutes before. And I know that opens up some old wounds, but it is what it is for that. Speaking of which, by the way, in our last stream, how we briefly went over about the Lincoln Riley stuff. So I want to add something to this I know people say it's unprofessional. Dudes, I know I'm an outlier and I get it. But at this point, I'm even more convinced that, what he did wasn't wrong or unprofessional. Because when you have the playoff chair is like, I forgot basically the context of it, but
6'7".
made a 6'7" joking with 6'7".
Yeah.
I went, bros, we cannot be saying like, oh, it's unprofessional to ask this question to Lincoln Riley. And yes, you could get your media credentials pulled. I get that. But then have the playoff committee person do that. Like, there's a difference of playing to your audience, like OU did with that women's basketball game, which was fantastic. I thought that was perfect for the kids for it versus like, bro, who are you? No, no. So that's where I'm just like, I'm it is what it is.
6'7" is dead now because of that. It's over.
It is what it is. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I guess we kind of exhausted a lot too. Swiggy, what are you looking forward to for Thanksgiving stuff? Did you already pick up food for yourself for it? Are you traveling anywhere? Are you playing Resident Evil 7 again?
No, I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna be lazy. I'm just gonna watch the NFL games unless they go bad, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah. I understand. So nice little laid back opportunity and stuff. Gavin, do you got any plans outside of having to work? Or are you just staying home?
I'm just mostly going to be staying home. By the way, Josh, I looked up your site. You actually just accomplished that first milestone.
I did. Yay! Hey, congrats.
Yay.
Congrats. I will take a look at that. And hey, we hit the first milestone. Hey, that's great for the kiddos. Again, as I repeat to everybody, I do not see a penny of that because unlike where it's like a GoFundMe where they get something from it, I do not get anything for that. So yeah, I'm very happy for that. Thank you for whoever donated for it. I will definitely add you. What my plan is to get a Hall of Fame essentially for it of like who's all donated and stuff and highlight stuff because I do also events and stuff as well to raise money. I know y'all will laugh at me, nerd moment, for all the people who are in here for it. Like I plan to run some like Halo Flashpoint board game tournaments and be like half of the registration goes to Extra Life. It's going to go straight to that. So, but yeah, I will take a look for it. I haven't got a notification. I see it, but I haven't got who donated yet. So once that uploads, I'll definitely send a thank you to them like I've been doing. So, but sweet. That's 85. More to go. So, besides that, Gavin, we talked a little bit of high school stuff. I'm so disappointed about what's it called? About the Friday, it being a Friday night, but I'm not disappointed as well that it's not going to be cold. I think it's going to be about chilly, but it's not going to be cold about it. I talked to a friend about the Owasso thing. He's like, I get it, man, but he's like, that's the crappy part about being on the east side. Now, he did say though, he said they don't know why they couldn't go to Tulsa or they couldn't go to like another stadium like that.
Well,
like
Tulsa, I think, was playing Friday, playing that Saturday and everything too, and it was like it was not going to work. Basically, wanting to do all those games on Friday and then having the TU play on Saturday, which that was just like one part of the issue right there, honestly.
Hey, and not to interrupt you, I do want to give it just loaded for me. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you for the donation. Massive
Hey,
shout
not
out
a
to
problem.
Gavin,
Anything
guys,
to
for
help.
pushing us. Yeah, absolutely. I think we all know like it's been tough for kids. And if you haven't had anybody who's ever had like an extended hospital stay, even with what our shitty our healthcare is right now, they don't know like every dollar counts for it. I mean, look at the Boys and Girls Club, like with what Eddie's doing. Like you see the prices of like this could be a week, this could be therapy, this is so parents can see them. Like it's a lot of money, guys. So Gavin, massive shout out, thank you, sir, for pushing us to the first milestone. And guys, if you can, share it to other people. See if they will donate for it as well. Again, this is all a last minute push before the end of the year, but we'll be doing this all next year. I'm hoping for Extra Life that next year that if I can work it out with my dad or if we can figure some like a way out to potentially for OU see if we could raffle some tickets off like for a home game or something like that. That's kind of the idea. I have to work with him on that first for it, but that has been in the idea. So thank you, Gavin, but thank you again for the awesome donation. You are awesome. But the
no, you are awesome for doing this, man. It's all you.
No, it's all you. It's all you, bro. It's all you, bro. A friend of mine, that was the case where it's like there has to be some home games or something that are happening, and there was just no opportunity. I'm like, yeah, but man, you have to think like they couldn't have gone. Like I know they couldn't go to Cameron Stadium. I know that's not a neutral site at that point, but you
No.
have to think like, why not some of the other big schools at that point? Like surely, and I guess there's not like the stadium's
No,
just small.
I mean, the only thing is like you have Tulsa Union, but like I don't know if Union wants to be able to go through all of that and everything. That's another thing. I mean, other than that, you have like all the 6A2 schools, and then not a lot of other schools that can actually be able to handle the capacity. I mean, last year's 6A1's titles games were held in Claremore, and they did not really have a lot of capacity on the visitors side, which was like pretty thin and narrow bleachers on that visitors side. So I mean, they
Yeah,
had people that were basically all around the fence and everything else too. So I mean, the only thing I will give a little credit for is that Catoosa's a little bit much more of a better stadium than some of the other stadiums. I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of credit to where it's at due wise and everything. But
yeah,
but the problem is with like how big these 6A1 schools are, from how they are stadium capacity wise and everything else.
yeah.
I just don't. It's just not really ideal. The only thing is, it's like I would love to see like the OSSAA, can come in and do something to kind of get uh some sort of regulation, because like it's just something that I think that has to be worked on. But then again, the
Yeah, and
OSS and the problem is like the OSSAA over the last several years, it's not been the best and everything, because they usually try and fold over backwards. They've been folding over backwards on a lot of stuff that's been going on with student athletics and stuff like that the last couple of years, and it's kind of gone to where things had to be rechanged from district wise. Not trying to get involved in lawsuits and all that. It's been a lot of things that have been going on like crazy, honestly. So it's like I feel like there should really be a little bit of a change within the system itself, honestly.
I mean, a lot of people have honestly been saying that. I think the issue too is for 6A, who's the finals in the semis? It's Bixby and
It's Bixby taking on BA, and then you got
yeah, that's it.
Owasso
That's it.
taking on Jinx. And right now, with both of those finals, and here's the thing: the best two teams are on the opposite sides. You got Bixby, who's basically the powerhouse right now, running all over 6A, and then Jinx has been pretty stout too. Their only loss
Correct.
has been to Bixby. That's been the
Correct.
only loss. And right now, Bixby is kind of been averaging nearly, I would say almost like nearly 60. I'm not kidding you, 60
I,
points a game,
I'm
which,
not being
yeah,
facetious when I say this. That I genuinely, I am, but I'm not. But you understand what I'm gonna say. Bixby could, with where they're at right now, probably at OSU's lowest, could give them a run for their money.
you're not
Now, I
wrong.
I
You're not
jokingly say
wrong.
that because of you got college athletes, they're seniors. It's like comparing the college and the NFL. Bixby's just that dominant right now, and
It,
boy, like I even
yeah,
saw like, and not to delve into the politics stuff with it. I'm talking specifically sports, so just keep that in mind, Swiggy and Gavin. I know there's a state question they're trying to push about eliminating property tax. I'm like, bros, if you don't think anybody's going to say a Lawton or a Duncan or Enid, this will push even more for people to go to those bigger schools. And if you want any type of sports competitions, it won't be at these smaller places anymore for that. That will consolidate even more of the athletes in those areas. Like there's a lot more for that, but that's where it is right now. People are in the city stuff. They don't want to play in the lower stuff, which is why we're seeing the east side the past 30
no,
years
they
dominate
no, they do not.
6A and have to dominate so much they had to split it into 6A1
Yeah,
and 6A2.
yeah, because think about it, because like the last time a 6A champ was on the west side in 6A1, you have to
Was
go back
Midwest
to
City.
Midwest City.
I
That's
think in
how, yeah,
1999.
and that was like back in, it was like, yeah, that's about right. I was gonna say it was like either 90. No, I think that was Jinx in 99. I think it was like either 95 or 96. that somewhere around in that area. But you're
95.
pretty
Yep,
close
I
though.
checked. Yep, I was 1 year
95.
off, but I was a couple years off from it. But yeah, 95. It's been 30 years. And again,
Yeah.
you can't blame people. Like, I get it.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's not just that, but like when you have the 32 schools, and it's like how you talk about with the property tax itself, and I know, and I don't usually get into politics of it, but especially with the fact that, if you look from the top 16 schools, you're basically having to where they're kind of in the metropolis areas and everything, and then you take to the next 16, that are just kind of just been somewhat hanging around. I mean, it was always going to be like within the top four with Bixby, Jinx, Owasso, Union, BA, all of those have been that. I mean, Broken Arrow, with it being the largest district, they could literally split to like 3 or 4 schools, like how they would with like Midwest City, Dell City,
Yeah.
and Carl Albert. I mean, that's how big BA is in that standpoint. So
Yeah.
you can, have issue with that. But to the point of all of it, what I'm just getting at, you know, it's just a lot kind of going on in that standpoint to where, from the talent side and everything else, so too. Now, 5A, 5A, 4A, and some of the others on the lower side of anything else, so too. That's a whole nother different story. And a lot of it, and everybody knows that it's always going to be dealt with how the enrollment is. And, you
Yeah,
always get those
but
fews, but the problem is they've always had those weird exceptions, like with McGinnis and some of
well
these
there's
other private
well
schools. And I know there's a lot of other stuff and
well there's
everything.
also another big thing to add with that is it's the nature of the beast with it is unfortunately a lot of the cities that aren't from the metros aren't producing talent that's making it to high level D1 college football, except in those areas for it. Like, let's just be honest, that's it. And if I'm a parent, like, and my kid is really going to be a successful athlete, about to say an athlete, I was like, no, that's not it. That's where we're at this point at the stream. Why wouldn't I move to the metros and get them more exposure for it? Because how long has it been? I think since some of my old high school like had recruits. It's been 20 plus years. I think. Even for some of the other ones, like a 5A, for example, from Noble, he made it into the Air Force, and he was recruited by the Air Force Academy.
Ye-
But that's still only a group of 5, group of 6,
Yeah.
one. Like, they're just not seeing the talent anywhere, and I get it. I hate it for
Yeah.
it, but it's like that's why there's also the like complete mismatch from the east and the west side because there's nothing on the west side. That's the issue.
No, yeah, there's not much on the west side, honestly. I mean, here's the thing, like the only side that's really powerful is mostly from, and I kind of put this out. I always joke that Carl Albert's always been much more of the power on 5A, and that's where they've been getting more recruits on that standpoint, that
Yeah,
actually have been going there. Where if you look at 6A, over the last several years, it's kind of been going through Bixby and even through Jinx right now, honestly, and that sort of hotbed.
yeah,
Now, it was funny though too because I've kind of laugh about it though too because we got the 5-star O lineman recruit who's actually out of Fort Gibson. Kind of got a bit of a
yeah.
diamond in the rough. I mean, a lot of it is just, depending on the crop and everything right now. And right now, there's just been a lot of, not a whole lot to where I can really say that I've been really been intrigued on or anything. But it's been like how you said, most of the metro right now has been focused more in the Tulsa area than anything. Cause like it's been a little bit more of a hotbed to where they're not, kind of getting into all of that for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. Just it is what it is. Last topic, guys, and we'll wrap up before so we can all enjoy the holidays. Lot of coaching changes happening. I know it's not Oklahoma related, but it is football related. I do my quick short summary of it is I do think OSU hiring the North Texas head coach is a good hire for them. I also think it's Swiggy.
That's a great hire.
We've
That's a
gone
great
in
hire.
depth on this. I think it's the best they're gonna get because I think at this
I,
point it's a who is available on the coaching carousel. You could go John Sumrall from like Tulane and stuff, sure. But I think it's one of those you had to pull the trigger at some point, and if you
Uh,
didn't, you're getting left behind. And I think, but right now,
John's going to
Arkansas is that
John's got
example.
John's going to Auburn. That's where John's probably going. That's
No,
where
no.
John's
I mean you have to take what you can get at this
Well,
point.
no, I agree with I agree with you on that. But that's also
Mm-hmm.
the point I was trying to
Yeah.
make is that
Correct.
John's probably going to Auburn. So
Correct. I
yeah,
think. Well, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's like if they waited too long, I think other schools with bigger resources, such as Arkansas, are coming into play at that point. And I'm not necessarily saying Arkansas is a destination. However, I will say if Arkansas can figure out what to get with the Walmart, the Tyson's Foods, and the Great Value money, yes, then they could throw a bag at anybody at that point because they're on Nike levels of competition, except with recruitment. The problem is Arkansas is like Nebraska. So that's where I say, like, it's not the destination that a lot of people think. It just pays a lot. Now, that said, I think OSU is in the great position where with this coach, if you can get a really good defensive coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
you could be in the top echelon of the Big 12 based on, like, if OU's not going after some of the Oklahoma kids for it, at this point, you should go for at least, like, hey, if there's that 4-star OU's not going after, you got to keep them in state. That's where they can take advantage. Now, I have
Yeah.
heard a rumor, Brian, you are right. Oklahoma is the best, but we do have a guest with Fred. Fred, we'll be seeing LSU on Saturday. Hey, we just hope it's a fair game for it because we know our refs suck. But
Yeah.
I have heard a rumor, and it has some smoke associated with it. And I'm not surprised, but I'm not. You know who OSU has supposedly reached out to be their defensive coordinator, and I said that would be a great hire for them if they can make it work. Yes, they can be doing some top level competing. It is Jim Knowles. Supposedly,
Oh
they
the situation
got
at Penn State because of James Franklin leaving, he has no guarantee that he's going to be there next year. And now, are they going to do a buyout? I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to buy out the staff anyway, but maybe he doesn't want to be there. I think that if if OSU offers him enough money, I think they could lure him back for it because he wanted to coach with Franklin, and I don't think he wants to go to
Virginia
uh,
Tech.
correct. I think there is a chance. I think there's a puncher's chance. I ultimately think he doesn't, unless they somehow or another make the buyout work. But if he could, I think that gives OSU back into that elite level, not elite level, but gets them back into the Big 12 conversation where they've been missing since they sold their soul to beat us in 2023 at that point. You got to do something. And I think OSU knows they have to open a bag up at this point.
Yeah. I will say the only thing about the hire too, and I kind of was looking this up though too. I and I've been looking through all the reports and everything. He's kind of been under the leech tree and everything too, which kind of tells you a little bit too. Played as a
Oh, the
wide
leech tree of
receiver.
band-aids.
Yeah, yeah, but and I'm not kidding you. Michael, Mike Leach basically nicknamed him as the elf on the team. And there was like a crazy story and everything to where he actually dressed up as like a full elf costume and everything and danced
Yeah.
on his desk and everything too.
Yeah.
Which that was one of those weird stories. But played as receiver and then became the OC at Tech and everything with Cliff Kingsbury, with Patrick Mahomes, a quarterback at the helm and everything too during that,
Yeah.
some of the coaching's time and everything too. So, not trying to, saying that, I'm really on the hype or anything, but, he does have, so I'm just saying, like some experience and everything with some of the with some of the players that he's has and everything that have gone pro,
Yeah.
as well. So I'm just saying, that's just kind of a bit of a side note, just to kind of on that watch out for. And
Yeah.
honestly, having that foothold in Texas too, it's like some of the other kids that might be overlooked, just could be something to just not like saying be top echelon, but something to keep an eye on more than anything.
Sure. Gentlemen, let's wrap up this stream. Swiggy, any final thoughts going into this weekend?
I'm going to write some very rude emails to the head of the college football committee about BYU and the Big 12. It might do something.
You know what? I'm in agreement, but I'm going to write something opposite. I'm going to write an angry email to them about, oh, we're going to have 7 o'clock as the reveal show. Oh, there's a basketball game, bro. Like,
whoever came up with that schedule.
Ugh.
That's a
they need to get
crime.
fired
That's a crime
or demoted.
It's a
Like,
crime.
I have enough. Like,
just put it on ESPNU.
Yeah, like at some point, it's especially if you're just going to go through the rankings in 10 minutes. It's like, bros, at some point, have the basketball game and like the multi-format, like YouTube or stuff does, the split screen, and just reveal it. Like, this is that was a disaster last night, especially if they would have went to overtime. But Swiggy, I will join you in that letter. Gavin, final thoughts.
Well, I'll just say, everybody, just mind your P's and Q's while driving. Don't overconsume on alcohol. Enjoy being with your families and everything, and don't get yourself burned with the fryer and the turkey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and Thunder just beat the Wolves, so Thunder up.
I saw
I was watching that all the way through.
still only one loss on the season for the Thunder.
Have you
And this
seen
is like the best start. Yeah, this is like the best start
Yeah.
since the Warriors in 2015-16, but we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Did you SGA drop 40 points in the game? I'm like, boss. Have you seen, before we wrap up and close out the show, did you see the graph that was like where all the basketball teams are at, like how efficient they've been? And everyone's like, where's the Thunder? Oh, they're all the way up at the top. Like, oh my goodness. And I do have a funny joke. I did laugh. Did you see the what's his name from the Thunder? He is not going to hit his max salary, and it's only going to be 25% of what his salary is because he didn't play in enough games. And he missed out so much. I don't think it's Chet. See, now you're gonna make me look it up on stream.
Yeah.
I think it's not Chet.
Who was it then?
Jalen Williams, probably.
Yeah, that's who it was. Jalen Williams is no longer
Williams.
eligible for 30% of the cap bump on his extensions because he hasn't played enough games, which my immediate thought was, oh no, my steak is too juicy. Oh no, my lobster is too buttery, because all that does is help OKC's cap space. And I laughed and I went, that was great. And everyone was like, cool, so this dynasty is going to continue. Freaking A. And I went, oh no, my steak is too juicy. My lobster is too buttery. Oh no. Anyway, I saw that. Oh yeah. So guys, thank y'all for joining in tonight. I mirror what Gavin says. I hope for anybody who's traveling in the process or who has yet to travel, you have safe travels during the holidays, guys. Again, I hope if y'all have an opportunity, please donate to Extra Life, as I mentioned earlier, and it's going to be in the description of this video. I challenge anybody to donate either the spread, which is $10.50, or donate the day it is on that we play them, which is on the 29th of November, so $29. I also challenge, if you even want to wait a little bit and see how much OU beats them by, for it, you can donate the amount then at this point. Or if you want to be funny, donate $67 so I can say someone donated 6-7. You know, I could do that too. But please be sure to consider it, guys. But again, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I hope I've held back this entire stream, guys, because I've wanted to interrupt so many times, but it's like, yeah, we're playing LSU. It's not what it really meant, but destroy LSU. I feel like I'm from Zurg from Toy Story 2. Instead of destroy Buzz Lightyear, it's destroy LSU.
Destroy LSU.
Yeah, that's where I'm at this point with them. But we'll see what happens this weekend. We will return, guys, on Sunday with a post game. Again, it will probably be just Swiggy, Gavin, as well, because Sean will be spending time with family, or I think he'll be in the process of flying back to Orlando at that point. So it'll just be us at that point, and then we'll see what happens from there, guys. We'll probably have a stream even next Wednesday just for playoff, maybe next Wednesday or the Sunday to discuss playoff scenarios. So, guys, again, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Don't gorge out too much on the turkey. Boomer Sooner, there's only one, and we'll see everybody here this Sunday. Have a great holidays, guys.
Have a great holiday.